I'm Cian Burton, the Commercial Director here at Kiro, and today I've got Sophia from Barclays and Watsons with me. Hi, thanks for coming, Sophia.
Well, thank you for inviting me onto your podcast.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure to have you. Okay, let's get straight into it. Tell us all a little bit more about you, who you are, where you're from, how long you've been here.
Right, okay, so even though I sound quite English, I was actually born in Spain. I was born in La Marina, actually, which is where we work. My mother is English, and I have been to an English school, so hence why I speak English. But yeah, I was born here. I went down to Costa del Sol. I started my real estate career down there, was working down there for about 9 years. And yeah, I've done a lot actually. Started from reception to sales, marketing, the listings, everything really. And with the pandemic, I actually thought I'd come back. Didn't think I'd stay. Didn't think I'd get involved in the family business because Watsons and Barclays are family businesses. But anyway, I started off just helping out a little bit here and there, and I ended up staying. So
Fabulous.
yeah.
And tell me more about Barclays and Watsons. What's the connection?
Right. So Barclays Properties has been operating in La Marina for over 28 years. It was actually the first international real estate agency to open. And then about 5 years ago, my mum, who's Simone, the managing director at both Barclays and Watsons, she was going to open a second office up, and she was discussing about branding it in the same way and so on and so forth. And I did say to her, why don't you sort of rebrand yourself, open up as a different estate agent, offer just an exclusive service. So Watsons Real Estate only offers exclusive properties, whereas Barclays will take on listings that are open to other agents, and have two different marketing strategies, tackle two different markets because we do have different marketing strategies within the two companies. And that's what happened. And it's been really successful. And
Awesome. And no looking back, you're glad you took that opportunity to do the two different brands.
100%, 100%. Actually, it's really fun as well. It's not easy having two different marketing strategies when you're selling the same product in the same area. But it's quite fun. It's challenging. I'm now in charge of the sales and marketing for both companies. So yeah, I enjoy it.
Fabulous. And tell me about your buyers, Sophia. Do both companies attract the same buyers, and where are those buyers from, and how's that changed over time?
Right. So initially, La Marina has always been an area where your typical client would be, a British expat, mostly retired or families. I think since the pandemic, that has changed massively, especially in the last year. At the moment, we're finding that our biggest market is Belgium, Dutch, German, a lot of the Northern European countries, to some extent, Canada, US, French, obviously. So it's a little bit mixed at the moment. Do we have different buyers? Yeah, Watsons does attract a little bit more of the Dutch, Scandinavians, Germans, this sort of market. And Barclays is quite predominantly British, though it doesn't just deal with the British market. But yeah.
No, great. That's great. And have you seen any new trends lately? Any new nationalities on your books that have started to come up in the ranks?
Yeah, actually, funny enough, I mean, the Americans probably, because the Americans we'd never see an American on La Marina before, the Canadians, but very recently, the South Americans as well.
Oh, cool.
Obviously, with all of the political turmoil, I imagine, and so on,
Yeah.
we're getting quite a few people coming over. Yeah.
Fabulous. Tell us all what is a challenge to you and and your businesses right now.
Right. The biggest challenge at the moment, I mean, we've gone through a few since COVID, Brexit, don't get me wrong. At the moment, it's just the supply of property. There's such a huge demand. It's absolutely mental. I mean, we've gone, fabulously from selling 10 properties a month between the two offices to selling like from anywhere between 20 to 30 houses each month. And, at the beginning, it was a little bit like, if we carry on with this, we're going to have to keep getting on so many houses just to keep up with what we're selling. And effectively, it's not happening. The demand is a lot higher than the supply of property. So that really is a challenge at the moment. It does get to a point where a lot of the properties that we sell, they don't even make it to our website.
No.
So, we verbally agree and we sign a contract with the vendor, we get keys to the property, and before the photographer's gone into the photos, the videos, and we've put it on the market, which only takes us 2 to 3 days, we've sold the house. That's the biggest challenge at the moment.
Yeah. Do you see that changing in the future, Sophia?
I really do hope so. Do I see that changing in the future? I'm hoping that with the whole of the new build, being built, finally, there's going to be a bit more of a supply on the market, because obviously up until now, everything that's been sold's off plan. Now it's all starting to get built. Now we're going to see a lot of those converted into resale properties as well. Likewise on La Marina. So that's going to open up a whole different market as well. And that's going to open up a whole big opportunity. So hopefully that's what's going to help us. Yeah.
Yeah, great. And what's exciting you about our market right now?
Right. I mean, a lot of things. I love my job. So what is exciting about the industry at the moment, I would say most importantly, just the way technology, artificial intelligence, this sort of thing is having an impact on the way that we operate inside as a business, on the way that we're structurally even communicating, all of this, people working from home, adapting to kind of, this change in the working environment, in the working structure, in processes, in automating a lot of the processes within real estate. Which actually I think real estate's always been a bit of a dinosaur in that sense, right? It's a lot of pushing paperwork and admin and town halls and this and that and the other. A lot of other industries, they've become very techy very soon because the industry allows it. And I think real estate is maybe in some aspects, like the conveyancing and the legal, a little bit more difficult. But when it comes to the marketing, which is obviously what I specialize in, it's really exciting because we've just got, so many new things happening, from, all the virtual viewings, the drones and this sort of thing. So the way we present ourselves to clients, the way we interact with clients, it's all changing. It changes so quickly. Got to be so up to date with everything. I think that.
Yeah, great. I do have an extra bonus question for you, Sophia, if you don't mind. And that's because I'm particularly interested in your business where it's located. So it's in Alicante, and the Valencia, Alicante, Castellón zone has all now got the agent registration piece going on, hasn't it? And I'm pretty certain you're registered. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the Valencian community, not too long ago, they set in place that, being in Alicante, which belongs to the Valencian community, you do have to be a registered and licensed estate agent. We were already licensed estate agents, and not just estate agents, but a conveyancing legal experts 28 years ago. So we got in pretty fast. We don't just do real estate, and we also legally advise. We have in-house lawyers, we have exterior lawyers as well. So we're actually legally capacitated since day one to not just open up our premises as real estate agents, but also handling deposits and this sort of thing. And paperwork, because a lot of the agents do it and they're not actually registered to do it. They're not even legally capacitated to do it.
What's involved in registering, Sophia?
Yeah, so it's basically getting insurances in place. It's also having like physical offices. It's just the basics, really. It's just the basics that you think would be so normal when dealing with a real estate agent. I mean, we are selling houses at the end of the day. We're selling something really big that involves a lot of money. But actually, it's not that common. A lot of the time, a lot of agents, we call them the bedroom agents. They operate from home and they're literally just a one-man band doing absolutely everything. It's impossible that they are legally capacitated or do it in a professional way, but they still do it. They sell, one house a year and it pays their bills. But what does it involve? Just a lot of paperwork. You do have to take like a little exam, and you do need to pass that test, but it's mostly just getting insurances in place, having physical offices and this sort of thing.
Okay, and is the exam quite easy to do?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's hard.
Yeah, good. And who needs it? Every single person registers as an estate agent?
Yes.
And do you know what the penalties might be for somebody who doesn't hold this registration?
I'm not too sure, if I have to be honest. I know they can get, I think I read there were between 5,000 as hefty as up to 500,000. I suppose it also depends on what kind of transactions you're doing and the net worth of property you're selling.
And do you have to renew this at any point?
No.
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, it's quite topical right now. There's a lot of areas of Spain wanting to know more about it, and there's quite a few agents that are sitting on the fence if they want it or if they don't want it to come into their region.
I see. Well, in theory, it's a really good practice. In theory, it protects the estate agents, but also it protects the buyers. Ultimately, it protects the vendors. So in theory, it's a really good idea. I mean, it's the way things should be done, in my opinion. It differentiates and it also sets a standard. which I think is important. However, in the practice, I don't know, whether it's being checked up. I don't know whether this is really something that's practically and tangibly happening. But yeah, I do think that being a buyer, it should be important for the buyer to check into if the real estate agent that you're dealing with is a licensed estate agent or not, just because of the fact that a lot of the time we're taking deposits, we're handling big sums of money. And yeah, I think you should check it out.
Sophia, thank you for your time. Really enjoyed hearing your opinions on everything, and we'll speak very soon.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye.